Hello, brilliant beings. Welcome to this video. I hope you enjoyed the other videos from the Pleiadian Council and this module of the channeling course. And this video will be a brief meditation that can help us to tune our frequency, to come back to an elevated state of love and connection, even bliss, kind of on command. Last week we did a video for clearing the emotional body, and this video that video is kind of like included that process that we can do whenever we're focusing on our own healing, and our own healing kind of helps us then to tap into when people come to us, they're going to go through that process of clearing out the denser energies. And obviously we're channeling this higher frequency being that is ultimately meant to stay kind of neutral in love, neutral love, that the higher being is not going to go into sympathy, because sympathy is a lower vibration. Sympathy is very different than compassion. Sympathy is like, oh, I feel bad for you, and in feeling bad for you, you start to feel bad. So we're not here to take on the emotional energies of others. Really, the guide is just there to offer a higher frequency and hopefully say the right things that can kind of trigger them to release their negative beliefs and understand why they're there, and then come up and meet them in that loving vibration. So everything in this universe is vibration, a high vibration, low vibration. When there's two different energies that want to come together of different vibrations, usually they meet in between. So, you know, sometimes even when I'm channeling for people, I'm noticing that the energy that is coming through is matching their state. So if I'm channeling for somebody who's very elevated, it may be a very high, powerful transmission or flying. And if somebody's working through heavier stuff, the vibration it works at may be different. And really, even if we're not being channels, the more we keep ourselves at this high state, then other people in our lives will come to meet us at that place. Sometimes it also means that our high frequency is going to bring people to release negative lower energies, and we can stay protected through that by really coming back to our own center, by asking and invoking that we don't take their energy on, and kind of creating this energetic bubble so that none of that stuff clings to us. But most often when we're working with people, that's not going to be the case, that they project upon us. That can be a whole nother video. Anyway, I guess the point of this meditation is kind of that we are our own unique beings going through our own emotional ups and downs. And when we really start to work more with people, there can be a sense that, oh, these emotional ups and downs I'm going through may mean that I'm unavailable. And that actually isn't the case. You just need to learn how to take more of a kind of control over your emotions to some extent, to be able to will yourself to have a kind of upswing when you need it. And understand that it's totally fine if after you do the session, then you go back into your own process. And that often happens for me. Though I've just learned over having to show up for people so often that I can really bring my frequency back up. And then when I'm in my own space, I can feel some of those emotions and beliefs that I'm processing and work them out. So some people get the sense of the spiritual path that, oh, once I'm enlightened, I'm not going to feel bad anymore. Or, oh, if I do this long enough, then I shouldn't feel bad. Or they come to see their emotions as evidence that they're not progressing spiritually. And this is one of the worst traps of the spiritual path in our times, is that we don't really understand our process of releasing density, and we don't give ourselves enough wiggle room for still being human. We think that we need to be just like the guides who are always happy and shiny. And even when we start to serve people, we might give off that impression that we're always happy and shiny. And to say that we're going to wheel ourselves into a more positive space isn't to take away the humanness or to say that we don't have those more human aspects, but it just shows that we're able to kind of snap out of our own process of release and personal transformation for the purpose of serving a collective transformation. And that's honoring how far we've come to get to this place of more clarity. So I really love this metaphor of peaks and valleys. So there's one sense of a sine wave where we're just going up and down, and every point we're reaching that same peak and that same crest. But our emotional healing journey is kind of like a sine wave, and then it goes up and down, but it goes up and down and also diagonal. So if it's going up and down and also diagonal, that means that one low point here is much higher than a high point over here. And we often forget that, and that's something really powerful to remember. I think if you've made this course, you've already been on the spiritual path a while, so you can really just think back to your high point and your low point a year ago, or even 3 or 4 years ago, and be like, if you really compare your high and your low point then to your high and low point now, you might be able to see that, even your lows now are a little bit higher than some of your highs back in the day, or they're certainly at least higher than the neutral space back in the day. It's that way for me. Maybe it isn't that way for everybody. That's what I notice. So why do we go back down again? Well, it's just because we have to get in touch with that emotional charge in order to discover our negative beliefs. It's very hard to see what beliefs are sabotaging us unless we are able to feel the emotional energy those beliefs are generating. So going into those denser spaces for that process of release is actually really important. And it's something not to judge, and it's something that we, in a way, don't have the full conscious control of when stuff comes up. And when it comes up, we're meant to be with it and be present with it. And then if we have this new experience in our lives where we're holding space a lot, we do want to be able to will ourselves up and out of that density to show up for people. And this isn't suppressing those things, it's just remembering love. And love can still encompass the sadness, it can still encompass the anger or the exhaustion or whatever we're feeling. Those things we can kind of put on the back burner and then come into that heart center. And actually, the more that we do this, the more our energy body becomes kind of programmed to resonate at that core vibration of love and stay there, stay present there. There's not as much wavering and there's more centering in the love vibration. It's like an emotional muscle memory. Like the more time you spend feeling good, the more naturally you'll return to just feeling good. So before we work with people, before we channel, we can attune to this higher vibration. And if you so far haven't had ease tapping into channeling, it may be because that love vibration is kind of being pushed away by the mental insistence on channeling happening or channeling looking a certain way. So if that is the case for you, then I would encourage you to practice this on its own first, and then maybe practice this right before you begin to channel. And again, this is a sort of practice that everyone can do in their own unique way, and it helps to remember this understanding that everything is here and now. And if everything is here and now, it means that all experiences we've had in the past are just as much alive within us now. And that's part of what we do in this practice, is to remember those previous peaks, those heights of joy, those heights of bliss, or those people that evoke the greatest feeling of love in us and come centered to our hearts. So, do I have that chime thing? The chime's always nice in the background, isn't it? So, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, bring a hand onto your heart, take a breath into your heart, let out a sigh with an ah sound. Ah. Again, take a breath in and let out a sigh sound. Ah. Even a third time, breath in. Ah. Get yourself centered in your heart here. Maybe bring yourself to smile. Pretend that you're smiling. You can force a smile, and even that can start to bring up some of that loving energy. Imagine there's a brilliant white light that's brightest in your heart and goes through your whole body and surrounds your body in a brilliant, bright orb of light. Maybe it's a rainbow, iridescent orb of light. Maybe it's white light, clear light. Just feel that light emanating around you. And here, with your focus on your heart, invite your heart to remember. Remember those greatest feelings of love, connection, bliss, even ecstasy. Start to remember those most powerful spiritual experiences you've had. Maybe it was experiences in amazing places in nature, or in connection with other light workers, or teachers, or guides. Bring yourself to remember. Maybe there are more shamanic experiences. Bring yourself to remember that feeling. If you can allow it to bring that smile to wash over you, allow that. Perhaps as you remember all of these experiences, you can see that common thread. You can let your higher self hear to show you how all of those experiences brought you to this moment, where you're becoming ready to channel and hold this frequency for others. You can deepen this experience of love by remembering all the people you love, your family members, lovers, friends, spiritual guides, fellow light workers, and allies on the path. Remember those moments of love and connection you've shared between each other. remembering that it's all occurring here in this moment. That love is still flowing towards you in your heart. Maybe you remember those last moments you felt incredibly happy for no reason. And bring that feeling back into your body as well. Know that it's all right here. Just continue to focus on that feeling of love and connection. And if as you do, some beings of similar vibration want to begin communicating or merging energy with you, just allow that. That love wants to express as sounds, you can allow that as well. And if this experience has brought you into a deep state of connection, you may want to move right from this into a channeling and start to allow this higher energy to speak through you or write through you. Or if you just want to rest in this vibration of love, you can do that too. I encourage you not to use this tool to escape more challenging emotions and embrace those emotions, to investigate what beliefs lie at their core. But whenever you really need to shift out of a state in order to jump back to life or to serve others, know that you can shift your state of being just simply by remembering. Knowing that your heart remembers all. If you have felt joy before, you'll experience even more joy soon to come.